It's your girl Joy, the Hip Hop Paraphon, and this is the rap session. So this week we're going to talk about this Aries stellium, okay, that is starting to pick up, okay? You got Mars, Neptune, the Moon, Mercury, and Saturn all within 8 degrees, definitely, but really like a real tight 2 degrees. Really, it's really 2. Well, some is 4, but I'll break down the degrees per aspect or whatever. But we're gonna get into it. This is gonna be a good one. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. So yeah, this is really about truth, self-disillusionment, and basically having to kind of redirect your path. Okay, so as always, we are going to use the Astro Soul Oracle deck. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first, let's talk about Aries. Okay, Aries is the first house, the first sign. Okay, masculine fire, cardinal sign. Okay, but the need of Aries is that of survival or being. You know, they need their independence, their freedom. But the archetypes that we're going to focus on today are the warrior and the pioneer. Okay, that leaves Aries to be looked at as impulsive, fearless, innocent. They are very decisive, direct, impatient, independent. Okay, all those things. And so Aries corresponds to the aspect of the conjunction, okay? But a stellium is just a conjunction of multiple planets in the same house or sign. Okay, it has to be at least 3 because just 2 would just be a simple conjunction. But when you have 3 or more planets in the same house or the same sign, of course, within, okay, an 8-degree orb, okay, give or take, that's what it means. The orb is just like give or take 1 or 2. So that is all. But a stellium is a concentration of energy, okay, to reinforce I will call it reinforce a particular behavior. And whatever that particular behavior does, the goal is to meet that Martian need. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm gonna take this away. Well, no, because we're gonna do the individual aspects. So we're gonna put Aries at the top because we know off top, you know, everything is Aries, right? So we're gonna start off with Mars conjunct Neptune. Mars, okay, is meeting with Neptune first on Monday the 13th. Where is it? Mars. Okay, Mars and Neptune. Boom. Mars is going to meet up with Neptune on Monday, April 13th at 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They are going to meet at 2 degrees. Okay, 2 degrees. 2 degrees. So, Mars, I wanted us to kind of think of the planets a little bit more deeper for this breakdown. And so that's what we're going to do. So for Mars is all about the self, right? You, me, us, we, by myself, all day, every day, all the stuff, right? So self. Any threats to your survival, your ability to keep moving, keep it pushing, all because you are working towards some type of reward. Okay, there's some type of goal, a need that needs to be met. And anything that is a threat to you reaching said goal or receiving said reward, you know, instant gratification, that is when you start doing the fighting, okay, so to speak. That's why I said we're going to focus on the warrior and the pioneer. So right now we're at warrior, right? What are you fighting for? What are you fighting against? right? Okay. So, Neptune Neptune is normally moved to feel some type of empathy, some type of compassion, forgiveness. Okay? Neptune is also home to a lot of spiritual gifting. So your um, telepathy, precognitions, clairvoyance, things like that. Okay? That is, you might start, okay, because Mars is first, right? It's all about fresh, new, beginning first. So you might start, okay, to have some precognition, some telepathy inclinations, some clairvoyant experiences. And you might feel like, am I going crazy? Like, what is wrong with me? Okay. You might try to like mentally fight through it, or you may see it as a threat to your mental health. Okay. Because I don't want to say this, but I mean, I have to. Like, a good example would be like the onset of schizophrenia. Okay, that's the hallucinations, the voices, and sometimes it can kind of be confused with, um, what is it called? Religious psychosis. Yes. Okay, or this would be spiritual psychosis because religion is Jupiter, but Neptune is spirituality. Okay, it's not the same thing. Anyway, this is all about self-delusionment. Okay, basically truth. Self-delusionment is basically when the rose-colored glasses no longer working. You're not even using those no more. It's like now you can see the truth. Okay, you basically have to have a come to Jesus moment with yourself and just be like, this ain't it. It's not it. Okay, you've been fooling yourself. You've been lying to yourself. You've been hiding things from yourself. Okay, because Neptune loves to hide stuff. Okay, loves a little secret, loves a little lie. Okay, you've been lying to yourself, and now it's going to be time to face the music. Very Neptunian. Okay, so next, okay, so I'm going to say it like this. We're doing these individual breakdowns, but more than, what is it? One, two, I'm looking at my notes. 1, 2, 3, 4 of these aspects happen in one day. So we're going to talk about them. I'm going to break them down individually, but we're going to talk about them as one thing, because that's what the stellium is bringing everything together. Okay. So now we're going to go to Moon conjunct Mercury. Moon conjunct Mercury. Okay. So now, Moon conjunct Mercury. We are in the green, looking at my notes here. So the moon, their only goal is self-protectiveness. And the moon will do that, or your moon placements will do that at any cost. Okay. Because rejection is what the moon cannot deal with. Okay. That's why the moon represents nurturing, loving, caring, empathetic feelings. Okay. Because we don't want to be rejected. Okay. It is also about how you give and receive love, how you provide understanding, how you are supportive. Okay. And all of this is a result of any past hurt that we may have had in our early years of development. Okay. And so to avoid rejection is the overall goal of the moon, right? And so I failed to say that the moon will conjunct Mercury on Wednesday, April 15th at 11:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this will be a big fat 0 degrees exact conjunction. Exact. Okay? It's strong. Exact. This is the only exact aspect out of the stellium. Okay? Basically, they're literally right there next to each other. Right there. Okay? So, Mercury is all about reporting, and useful skills having been learned. So think of it like this. When you learn something new, you want to share that information with somebody else. You want to tell somebody. You want to also teach somebody what you have learned. Okay? So that is what that is. But also, it is a time, or Mercury, when it is time to correct mistakes. Yes, you were trying to be helpful, but now it's time to go back and fix things. So a way that you can help yourself do that, because we're talking about the self here, and I'm going to get into why in a second. You're talking about yourself. Now is a good time to journal. Keep a journal, a diary, a log, basically a list. Keep track of your emotional progress. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Okay, we just got to go in order so the story can make sense. Okay, so this is the journaling portion. So now we are going to get into the moon conjunct Neptune. Bringing Neptune right on back. And we're still in the sign of Aries. Okay, so the moon will conjunct Neptune on April 15th at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 degrees. Okay, Mars and Neptune connected at 2 degrees. The moon and Neptune are going to connect at 2 degrees. Okay, one after the other. So this is where we go back to Neptune, the self-delusionment, the truth coming out, right? So what the type of energy that we're dealing with is internal. Okay, this is about your internal world, meaning your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, everything that's happening that you're thinking about in your mind. When you have that internal dialogue, this is what you're going to be like reconciling, dealing with. Okay, this is not going to be about someone else or projection onto, what somebody else is doing or what you are doing with them, for them, to them, or vice versa. This is about you. Okay, Aries is about self, right? Mars is about self, and the moon is the one making all of these aspects. The moon is about your internal world. How can I even explain it? Internal world. Wrong book. Let me see if I can find a good way to subconscious, personal, unconscious. Yes, those are the two things. Okay, subconscious and personal. Okay, consciousness. Internal, mental. Okay, so what you're going to be dealing with, the type of feelings that you are going to be dealing with during this self-delusionment period, because the moon is about how you feel. When Mars and Neptune first connect, this is you realizing that you have been lying to yourself, right? And so now we had the moon get with Mercury, and you realize at that time, when the moon met with Mercury, you was like, this is why I've been doing this. I have been lying to myself to avoid rejection. Okay? I lied to myself to avoid rejection. Okay? And you are going to be journaling about all of this, or you should. I am suggesting that you do. Okay? So after the self-delusionment and the truth, these are the feelings that you are going to be navigating. Okay? The loss of false beliefs. Okay? So what I'm explaining here is not a astrological thing. I am defining self-delusionment. Okay? Self-delusionment is the loss of false beliefs, cherished illusions, idealistic projections about yourself, oneself, expectations that don't align with reality, a crucial turning point i.e., like I said, stop lying to yourself. Okay? Accept the loss. Neptune is about loss. Okay? Accept the loss. Neptune is also about acceptance. Accept the loss and this newfound reality. Okay? Avoid substance use. Okay? A lot of people, when they fall off, they seek drugs, alcohol, and other things to kind of cope. Do not do that. Okay? Reframe your perspective. Basically, look on the bright side. Find the silver lining. All of the colloquialisms, whatever you could think of, proverb, whatever. Okay? Forgive yourself is probably the most important. Okay, those are your journal prompts. Those are your journal prompts. Okay? Expectations don't align with reality. Okay, what's your new reality? Okay? Accept the loss. Reframe your perspective. Forgive yourself, most importantly, because these cherished illusions are kind of what gave you your identity just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay? What else was I going to say? The projections about yourself. You held yourself up to this standard, okay? And now that you are not realizing, okay, those goals, or you're like, hey, this is not actually me. I'm not working towards this. Like, I'm nowhere near where I thought I would be or where I wanted to be. You're going to have to like reconcile that. Okay? Okay. So now we are going to move on to the moon conjunct Mars. The moon will conjunct Mars on April 15th at 6:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 4 degrees. Okay? Okay? So this is all about kind of shaking the depression. Okay? How do you avoid those unhealthy behaviors such as substance use or falling into a depression? Okay? And what I'm about to read to you is directly from Mental Health America. I was actually doing something for work when I came across this. And so when I was breaking down the astrology, that is literally the very first thing that came to my mind. Because you know why? Movement is great for your mental health. Movement, action, doing things, Mars, Aries, because we're all up in the same archetype, right? Is good for your emotions, mental health, safety. Okay? So I'm going to read just like this so y'all can see. Overcoming the mental block to movement. It's no secret that moving your body is good for your mental health. Movement offers proven benefits, including feeling calm, reducing stress, boosting mood and connection with others, helping with pain, and fostering inspiration and creativity. So why don't people do it more? When people think of movement, thoughts of running or going to the gym are the first things that come to mind. Those things can feel overwhelming to fit into busy schedules or to do if you aren't used to exercising. Sometimes a mental block can make it difficult to get moving. Okay? This can be especially true when you are living with a mental health condition like depression, where symptoms like brain fog is Neptune, okay, brain fog or anhedonia can make it harder to feel motivated. Dealing with mental blocks is hard, but it is possible to overcome them. It can help to think about how you feel after you move or how you felt in the past after movement. Past. This can help you push through the block and get started. Remember that movement doesn't have to look a certain way, and what works for one person may not work for another. It is important to explore which forms of movement feel good to you and best fit your unique needs and circumstances. Okay. This is the part where I said Mars is about keeping it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it pushing. Literally and figuratively. Okay? Okay? Now, next, we are going to go straight into the moon conjunct Saturn. Oh, wait. No. Almost forgot. I missed my little pink stars here. Oh, okay. Okay, no pink stars. Yes, we are moving on to Saturn. We're moving on to Saturn. Pink stars is Saturn. Okay? So, let's talk about Saturn. Saturn, ambition, determination, all to simply compensate for a fear of failure. You are a workaholic. Congratulations. Okay. So Saturn says that you are overcompensating for basically what is or what was that Neptune energy, because Saturn and Neptune are still in conjunction. Okay. Saturn and Neptune are still in conjunction. These two have been in conjunction for months now. I told y'all, I think the last video, I don't know what video it was, but they butt buddies. Okay. Neptune is the procrastinator, okay? They avoid responsibilities. Saturn is all about responsibility. But the problem is you're not enjoying the fruits of your labor, okay? Too many obstacles, too many blocks, too many restrictions because you're trying to overcompensate for what you haven't done, okay? So these unalterable, okay? You can't change anything. And that is what is making you overcompensate. You're hyper vigilant, essentially. Okay. Boom. Bring back Mars, because Mars is still out here in the conjunction. I'm just doing it one by one, right? Mars is out here. Okay. Mars will conjunct Saturn April 19th at 6:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're not going to get into that. But I just wanted y'all to know that it's going to happen. Okay. You might feel like an utter failure. You might feel guilty that you didn't do what you were supposed to do initially. You might fall into sadness and despair. This is all moon, your emotions, right? This is what I was talking about, the mental health aspect, right? Okay. Personal defectiveness. There is nothing wrong with you. Okay. Just because you couldn't reach this particular goal does not mean that something is wrong with you. Do not think that you are defective. And that is why it is important to move, okay, to get the physical activity going before Mars meets a Neptune. That's why you got to kind of establish like a little bit of a routine, okay? Because when this hits, oh, it's going to hit. It's going to hit, okay? And so this is where your journal comes in. If you don't want to move, you can write. Writing is still movement. It's still you doing something. It's still therapy. You are still exporting that energy, but you're doing it in a creative way. Journal prompts about your feelings and what you're thinking. You're going to log your new perspective. We already talked about reframing your perspective with the moon conjunct Neptune aspect. So now you're going to write that down. Okay, and this allows you to not only build resilience, but you can actively work through the mental aspect of your feelings. Okay, like you are writing down your thoughts and emotions, and you can kind of see. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we feel overwhelmed or discombobulated, but it's because we can't see how we feel. If you write it down, make a list, you'll be able to see how you feel. You'll be able to pull yourself up out of that a little quicker. Okay, focus on your health, mental health, cardio, gut health, i.e. your stomach and intestines. And I say those particular things because Aries rules the head, mental. And then you have the heart, which I believe is Gemini. Okay. And then you have Virgo and Cancer. Cancer is stomach, Virgo is guts. Okay. Okay. Focus on those things. Drink more water, as always. Okay. So next, we are going to get into Mercury conjunct Neptune. Oh, didn't see that one coming, did you? Didn't see that one coming. Who I say? Mercury. Okay. Mercury conjunct Neptune. Oh, yeah. Okay, Mercury conjuncts Neptune on Thursday, April 16th at 10:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 2 degrees. Okay? So, Neptune is all about distorted reality. That's actually a creative gift. Okay? It makes your truth adjustable, basically optimistic. That's the tail end of reframing your perspective. So basically, after you have realized you've been lying to yourself, you go through all of the emotions, you start logging it, keeping yourself above water mentally, emotionally, and then Mercury and Neptune. Well, Saturn is where you get real about what really happened. Like, I was overcompensating. Like, you tell yourself, this is what it is practically. Okay? So Mercury and Neptune is where you basically gonna get your energy back up, where you're gonna be ready to go. Okay? This is how I'm trying to think of it. Like, you coming up out of the depression, coming up out of the negative feelings, coming up out of the guilt and all of that. Okay? So Mercury and Neptune. Neptune is great at distorting reality, but it is also a creative gift because you can adjust your truth. Okay? Optimism. Okay? There will be subtle changes in your way of thinking, which will inspire you to take a new path, a new direction. This is now where we have entered the pioneer stage. We're fighting for our lives, fighting for our mental health. And now, you know what? Boom, fresh start. I'm off to the races. I'm going to do this now. I'm focused on this. Okay? But the thing is, you have to capture your imagination. Okay? And then, okay, you start to learn. Because once you have realized the fantasy, you basically know what you're working towards. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to pick up. Like those new skills that you learned, okay? The telepathy, the precognitions, and the clairs, all of that was to help other people. Those are useful spiritual gifts that you can use in service, okay, to others, right? And sometimes that medium might vary depending on the person. So this could be painting, photography, film, poetry, music, or dance. You might even enroll in a class of some kind, okay, in order to learn, okay, what it means to get in the zone, get in the flow, a flow state, okay, where no one can stop you. You have reached optimal creativity. You are not even thinking. It's so innate, it's natural. You're not even thinking about it. It's so subconscious. You have no idea until it's done. Okay? So, any other purple? And why did I write that down? Oh, just so y'all know, also on the 15th, in addition to all of these aspects, the moon will be forming a sextile to Uranus. Frankie. On the same day, April 15th at 9:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then form a sextile with Pluto later in the evening at 7:16 p.m., both at 5 degrees. Okay? Okay, so the moon is doing all of this. The moon is doing all of this to kind of like get your emotions in check. And we know that a sextile is an air aspect, okay, 60 degrees. So it's curiosity, interest, awakening, arousal, learning, opportunity, value, talents, enjoyment, pleasure, intellectual valuation, aptitude. All of that is what you will need to move through this Martian energy. Okay, you're going to need some curiosity. If you want to be a pioneer, you got to be curious about what's next in your new direction. You awaken to the lies that you've been telling yourself, but now you have to seize the opportunity to pivot. Okay? Use your talents. Make sure that you are doing something that you can enjoy. Something that is going to be just as intellectually arousing as, I don't know what you find intellectually arousing, okay? But that, okay, is where you need to go, where you need to be. So let's take a look back really quickly. First, we had Mars and Neptune. Well, I'm just going to bring all of the players in the Players Club based on their, first is Mars and Neptune. Then the moon comes in with Neptune and Mars. And then Saturn. Oh, it was Moon and Mercury. That's okay. It's all a conjunction, which is none other than, a stellium in Aries. Okay. Stellium in Aries. Boop-a-doop. Okay, y'all got that? Are you with it? I think we've got it. So, once the rose-colored glasses come off and you go through all your feelings, feeling bad for yourself, guilt trip yourself, all of that stuff, you're going to start moving, doing stuff, getting creative, watching your health, doing all the things. And then you're going to be like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this instead. Let me go through a formal program to solidify my knowledge and teach others. Something that I can be happy doing. Something that is innate and natural. I hope that you all have enjoyed this reading just as much as I have enjoyed reading it for you, breaking it down. And, that's all I got. And look at all of this. All of this. Circle, circle, dot, dot. Now I got a cootie shot. Okay? All right, y'all. See you next time. Peace.